up, Taiwan? I'm Reece Ayers with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Police have identified the remains of a Singaporean-Australian man who went missing during last year's 7.2 magnitude earthquake in Hualien. The man and his wife had been hiking along a trail in Taroko National Park at the time of the quake. A police search of the landslide-hit trail didn't turn up any sign of the couple, but a nearby farmer found bones on January 11th that have since proved a DNA match. The Hualien District Court is notifying relatives, though there is still no sign of the late man's wife. The status of Chinese citizens naturalized in Taiwan has long been a controversial subject. Touching on national security and immigration, the issue has spurred many debates. Chris Gorin reports.
The complex issue of naturalizing Chinese citizens in Taiwan has become a matter of hot debate here. Perhaps the most controversial aspect regards when Chinese citizens need to renounce their original nationality. Unlike people of all other nationalities, a special law known as the Cross-Strait Act allows Chinese nationals to become naturalized in Taiwan without giving up their Chinese status. It also opens the door for their participation in politics, such as through voting. However, another law, the Nationality Act, stipulates that anyone who wants to serve in Taiwan's government must renounce all other nationalities.
我们的两岸条例是说，你入籍中华民国的身份证之后，
特定的年限
10年，你可以有参政权。
对，
但是我们的国籍法是规定，你要担任公职，对，你不能有双重国籍。那所以这两套法律，它在解释上面会产生一个冲突。我们从去年到现在，我们对这个问题的看法是一贯的，是一贯的。也就是说，两岸人民关系条例只保障你的参政权，但是你真的要任公职的时候，你要根据国际法。
就回到国际法。
That interpretation has applied to recent cases of Chinese-born politicians who have had their eligibility questioned or revoked. And the Mainland Affairs Council, or MAC, which handles cross-strait policies, may have the public on their side in this case. A recent poll by the MAC showed that 74% of respondents agreed that Chinese citizens should be required to renounce their citizenship in order to hold public office. Only 17% disagreed. Some of this support may be because of concerns about Chinese espionage, as numerous new cases involving people spying for Beijing have come to light recently. Some legislators have introduced an amendment that would make the requirement for renouncing other nationalities even clearer. In the past, there have been proposals to require naturalized Chinese citizens in Taiwan to undergo the same exams and requirements as other nationalized foreigners, along with taking a special oath.
在宣誓里面提到说我放弃中国籍，并且效忠台湾。那这个宣誓的条例其实是具有法律的效益的。如果你违反里面相关的规定，你必须被注销户籍。
Another controversy is that Chinese nationals must live in Taiwan for 6 years to qualify for naturalization, while people of other nationalities need only 4. Some opposition lawmakers are pushing to equalize the timeline, citing that Chinese nationals make up the largest group of foreign spouses in Taiwan.
户籍的配偶，他们也一直不断的都在争取。那其实，没有成为中华民国的国民哦，对他们不管在就医或者是平常日常生活当中，都有一些困难。
But the MAC says the timeline is a trade-off.
如果你真的要做到完全公平的话，那陆配很多的特殊，我们给他的特殊优惠政策，可能都要随之取消。这样对陆配来说，并不是一个好事。
The debate over naturalization laws for Chinese citizens in Taiwan highlights deeper questions about national security and Taiwan's evolving identity, and whether all citizens are equal before the law. Chris Ma and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Yeol has become the first president of South Korea to be charged with insurrection. Yoon's legal team has dismissed the charges as being politically motivated. The impeached president is set to stand trial alongside senior defense and military officials accused of aiding the insurrection. Meanwhile, South Korea's constitutional court is deliberating whether to formally remove Yoon from office, with a decision expected in the coming months. Yoon's brief imposition of martial law in December plunged the country into a political crisis, prompting clashes between lawmakers and the military. Diners in Hong Kong are gradually turning their backs on what was once a popular winter delicacy, snake soup. Like in Taiwan, snake meat has fallen out of favour due to concerns about animal welfare, environmental impacts and the risk of disease. And as John Van Trieste reports, the start of the Year of the Snake will likely see demand shrink further.
From a wooden drawer, Chow Ka-ling pulls out a large snake, deftly controlling it as it tries to squirm away. Chow is known as Hong Kong's snake queen, both for her skills at catching serpents on the loose and for the fact she keeps them on the menu. In parts of East Asia, including Hong Kong, snake soup is a delicacy thought to fortify the body through the cold months. And since 1965, Chow's family has owned this eatery, appropriately called Snake King, serving up snake soup winter after winter to the masses. Over the decades, the business has had to adapt. One big change came with tougher public health rules following the 2003 SARS outbreak, thought to have jumped to humans from live wild animals. Today, the snake meat all comes frozen from Southeast Asia. The 3 resident snakes, Chow says, are just pets, kept for visitors to take photos with. But changes are still coming. And while the shop still has its loyal fans, snake meat is definitely out of favor. There are signs Hong Kong could be following the lead of Taipei, where the last specialty snake meat shop in the city's so-called Snake Alley closed in 2018.
揾唔到食嘅人就唔會有人入行啦。就算啊，將來我啲侄仔入行啊，不如你煲糖水好過啦。拖咩蛇啫，係咪啊？即係咁難做嘅生意，唔好做啦，做咗3個月。
It's something regular diners at Chow's shop also see on the horizon.
因為真係越嚟越少喎，香港地唔知點解喎，可能後生嗰代唔中意食蛇啊，可能啊，對於蛇咧有啲恐懼咁嘅性質啊，所以應該後生嗰代咧越嚟越少人食蛇。即係有機會咧，呢個咁嘅行業嘅式微都唔定啊！如果喺香港嚟計啊。
Concern for animal welfare and changing tastes both partly explain the decline of snake meat consumption. But some researchers say this is far from the full picture.
SARS and COVID came up as one main reason, but then, there's a variety of other reasons. Some would say that, well, there's some people that have some issues with or have potential environmental concerns about consuming wild meat, such as snakes and that type of thing. And then some also related it to climatic warming, where the weather is warmer, so people don't feel as cold and might not want to eat snakes as much.
Chow Ka-ling says she's going to hold on for now, but she's one of a dwindling number of eateries still in the snake meat business, as aging chefs and falling demand see other shops shutter. It's a trend the coming Year of the Snake is unlikely to help reverse. James Lin and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Ahead of the Lunar New Year, temple dancers in southern China are performing the Song of Heroes. Once a fading art form, this ancient spectacle, a blend of kung fu and Chinese opera, is now finding new audiences online. Bryn Thomas reports.
Spectators in the southern Chinese city of Shantou watch a performance of a traditional dance, the Inca, or Song of Heroes, ahead of Lunar New Year. It's a spectacle that's been registered on China's list of intangible cultural heritage since 2006. Around 40 dancers, aged 12 to 30, took part. This art form was once on the decline, but the dancers say there's proof out there that it can still attract young people.
在莺歌舞这里面可以感受出来，一个是男子气概，一个是朝气，一个是朝气，一个是属于年轻人的一种精气神，所以我们就感觉就很喜欢这样的一种特殊的运动吧，就在我们这边是一种特殊的运动，而且包括到我们去穿上这样的一套衣服，感觉就很帅。
The Inga is traditionally performed at the start of the Lunar New Year during a day called Xiaonian. It's a reenactment of the classic Ming Dynasty novel Water Margin, Shui Hu Zhuan, telling the story through a blend of martial arts and Chinese opera. The plot follows a band of 108 Song Dynasty outlaws who rebelled against the government, earned amnesty, and were later enlisted to fight nomads.
我们的颜色非常的鲜艳和漂亮啊，然后而且就是表演的，我们看到的这个表演都是少男少女咱们还有就是特别是很热情招待的。
Many Lunar New Year traditions in China are disappearing as modern lifestyles take hold. In some cities, staples like firecrackers have been banned, and increasing urbanization is blending regional traditions into larger national customs. But despite this, Inga performers are reaching much larger audiences online, in particular on Douyin, China's version of TikTok.
其实在中国这样的一种传统文化已经大多数已经发生变化了，更加的去符合年轻人的口味。线上的观众比线下的多很多，线上的观众差不多几千个，然后最终是13万个。
While its traditions have changed with the times, the energy and spirit of Inga dance has proven timeless. And thanks to performers' use of digital platforms, this ancient art form is finding new audiences in China and across the globe. Scott Huang and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
As the Lunar New Year holiday kicks off, a cold air mass from China has sent temperatures plummeting across Taiwan. Taiwan's Central Weather Administration has issued low temperature warnings across the country for Monday to Wednesday. Some areas in the north could see lows below 6 degrees Celsius. In the country's central mountain range, rare snowfall in the subtropical climate have capped some of Taiwan's highest peaks. As the world continues to face growing environmental problems from electronic waste, one Taipei-based artist is turning discarded materials into unique artworks. Wesley Lewis has more.
Taiwanese artist K-John is reimagining what it means to upcycle. He's known for his creative sculptures, crafted from old electronics that have been cast aside.
其实我一开始只是做兴趣，我那时候没有想过说要往这方面走，只是觉得说，这东西不要的，然后拿来创作很好玩。而且我从那个时候开始，就是在陆陆续做了一些，就越做越好玩。
A former graphic designer, K-John has been making his artworks for nearly a decade, prompted by what he calls his childlike imaginings and a strong sense of environmental responsibility. Not wanting to contribute to the growing global problem of e-waste, he re-envisions components from broken electronics, reassembling them into art. K-John's workshop and his sculptures of spaceships, robots, and even King Kong are located in Taipei's iconic Treasure Hill neighborhood. This area was once an illegal hillside settlement founded by military veterans in the 1940s. It was revitalized in 2010 by the city government working with NGOs. This initiative was criticized for having displaced many of their original tenants, while simultaneously praised for fostering a new environmentally conscious artist community, which includes K-John. Aside from keeping waste to a minimum, K-John says his art is also motivated by the need for sustainability. In 2022, over 60 million tons of electronic waste was produced globally, of which less than a quarter was recycled. It's one of the world's fastest surging solid waste streams. The WHO says the toxins in unrecycled e-waste could pose adverse environmental and health effects, especially for children and pregnant women, a concern that K-John hopes to help address.
我们制造的垃圾会越多，但我们一定没办法零垃圾，这不可能。但我们只能够减少垃圾，就是尽量绿生活，所以只能说，我们用现有的东西，让它更一个生命。
Though the world's waste problem doesn't seem easily surmountable, K-John says he wants his art to inspire creativity and meaningful conversations among his community and those who visit Treasure Hill. And he doesn't intend to slow down, aiming to keep finding innovative ways to repurpose one man's heap of trash into another man's hill of treasure. Fu Huahong and Wesley Lewis for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we take you to Singapore for some Lunar New Year themed events. I'm Reece. Take care and see you next time.